Okay, question number 4 on R1105 Test 3 review is a quadratic equation. Let's look at it. It's already been given to us. Oh, let me get the cord around here. Come on, cord. There we go. This has already been given to us in standard form. Now, here's what I mean by standard form. One side's equal to 0. The other side is in descending power order, and the lead coefficient is positive. Always the best way to work. Now, we can't use the square root property here to start with because there is a b value that's not 0, so that's not going to work. What we could do, however, is we could try to factor this, but I think what you'd realize after a bit, and it wouldn't take you that long to figure out, is this polynomial, the 2t squared minus 3t plus 4 is prime. So that polynomial is not going to factor. So what we're going to do then is we're going to apply the quadratic formula. Now let's write down our little legend, okay? What I mean by the legend is, before I go to the formula, I need to know the values for a, b, and c. I find a as my lead coefficient, which in this case is 2. B is my middle term's coefficient, which is -3. And C is called C because it's the constant term, which is 4. And I now go to my formula. T is equal to, let's write the formula first, from memory, opposite of B plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. And now let's plug in. Okay, I'm going to put my little division bar. The opposite of b is a -3. I like to put it in little parens, little safety nets, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that would be -3 in safety nets squared, minus 4 times a, that's 2 in safety nets, and c is 4 in safety nets, all over 2 times a, which is a 2. And now we do our arithmetic. T is equal to, let's run my bar, opposite of a -3 is a +3. Plus or minus the square root of, -3 squared is 9. -2 times 4 is -8. -8 times 4 is a -32. And this is all over 2 times 2, which is 4. Now let's work with the arithmetic under the radical. 9 minus 32 is a -23. Okay, so we have -23, and we have a 4 here. Now what I want you to pay attention to, and it's important, is when you see a negative under a square root, you know that you are going to come out with not a real answer, but a complex. This becomes 3 plus or minus, and the square root of -23 becomes I radical 23. And this is all over 4. So we basically have 2 answers. Now, sometimes you're asked to write your answer, when it comes out to be a complex number, you're asked to write it in standard form, which basically means to kind of pull it into 2 separate buildings. So if you were going to write this in standard form, you would write the 3/4 in front, okay, 3/4, plus or minus, and then you would have, you would basically have the square root of 23 over 4 times I. And that is a way you could write the answer to this equation in standard form. And in a lot of your future cases, you're going to be asked to do that. So it's not a bad habit to get in when you're working with complex numbers resulting from the quadratic formula.